Tejas, let me go across to the other guests joining me tonight. I will, of course, be joined by Arun Jaitley, but I'm also joined now by Mr. Gopal Subramaniam, a former Solicitor General of India, one of Delhi's best-known lawyers, and someone who's also been at that High Court. We visited there today as well to express solidarity. I'm also joined by Kirti Azad, Lok Sabha MP of the BJP, and Mr. Arun Bhagat, former Director of the Intelligence Bureau. Mr. Subramaniam, to go across to you first, we just heard the Lieutenant Governor talk about intelligence, actionable intelligence, what kind of alerts are needed, why there isn't a firewall of security in place. What would you say today as a former top government lawyer and as a resident of Delhi?
Well, I think the attack which has taken place today is a very serious one. You've got to look at the content of the message which is being sought to be driven. I do not accept the position which has been asserted by the Delhi police that this was outside the High Court premises. This was actually abutting the High Court gate, and people who were entering the premises were casualties. So I do not think that this fine distinction that this happened on some sort of public place should even be propounded by a law agency in front of anybody. This was actually the entrance to the High Court. Now, what is of great concern is this, that when people actually see this happening at the entrance of a court building, I think the fear which it generates is far greater than any other kind of blast or any other kind of mishap. And we must also understand that, just as the Lieutenant Governor rightly said, we need a structural review. We need a review of security which needs to be provided to the judiciary and judiciary at all levels. Please see that cases which are conducted on a day-to-day basis, whether it be a terrorist case,
yes,
by a sessions court or a special court or a high court or a Supreme Court, I think that there has to be protective measures. How do you expect cases to be tried, people to prosecute cases, if there is going to be fear?
I think that's a crucial point, sir. Yes.
This attack on the High Court, according to me, is a symbolic attack on one of the most vital pieces of our democratic structure, which is the judiciary.
Yes, and I think that important point is judges expected to deliver verdicts in crucial, sensitive cases. Delhi High Court, of course, delivered one Afzal Guru. We're not linking it yet. It's too early to say. But the point is there are many, many sensitive cases heard here. It's a larger message. Kirti Azad, bringing you in here. Parliament was attacked. We've seen the current thing, the irony perhaps of the debate that Afzal Guru sentenced to death for the attack on Parliament, attack on the High Court. These are attacks on symbols of the idea of India. Your reaction to that and the response, I mean, and not just Congress versus BJP, but the political response.
I think it's really very strange, and somebody will have to pull up the socks. It's very strange when I see there was no actionable intelligence. This was the 19th case, as it was earlier in the High Court. On the 25th of May, there was a small little recce kind of a bomb blast. And then you have this. This happened in Jama Masjid. And this was the 19th time where these guys had first tried a little recce, a small bomb, and then they blasted the big one. So when they say there was no actionable intelligence, I fail to understand what do they mean by that. Secondly, I feel it's, when you say structural review, as Mr. Gopal said earlier, structural review when? When are we going to have it? I mean, there were 2,000 cameras that were bought during the Commonwealth Games time, which obviously went into a big corruption scam or whatever. Those cameras are not yet connected to monitors. Does anybody know about it? I mean, after all...
and where's the actual follow-up to this? Because in fact, even in Mumbai, in fact, I want to bring Mr. Arun Bhagat on that. In
and
Mumbai,
so
we know...
they talked about, I'll complete.
Sure.
When they talk about it, they said they're going to put cameras at the High Court after the 25th issue. And they didn't do it. So I want to know, when you talk about structural review, when are we going to do it? When we're going to lose the people here? When everybody's going to die, then you're going to do that? Every time there is something taking place, I feel so odd, people just sitting and saying, Acha kitne, 11 mar gaye? 55 घायल हो गए, अरे ये तो 11 के 20 होंगे. I mean, what is happening?
Have they just become statistics? Mr. Arun Bhagat, to bring you in here on the larger questions, there'll be the familiar blame game, the sense of blast deja vu. I mean, whether it's the 24/7 coverage by television channels, whether it's how people react to it, whether it's how people just get back to work with a sense of resigned acceptance because they feel nothing will change. What will be the game changer here? What really, when we look at, where is the actual focus going to be on a larger structural review?
Well, the list is very long, but first I would say that we need a stronger political will. And the
Mr. Khanna hinted at that as well.
Justice system has to be seen that it is objective and it is not affected by any extraneous influences. Unfortunately, the feeling which is going down everywhere among the culprits, among the terrorists, as well as among the citizens, that this is not so. So,
Right.
I think first is that we must restore the faith, and that involves decision making quickly, and also once law has taken its course as far as appellate courts are concerned, then the mercy petition time should not be extended unnecessarily.
And the political jockeying really over those clemency petitions should also stop.